It's Joe Biden against America, and we're losing for now. But make no mistake about it, folks. They will lose the fight. We are losing right now, but not for long. Not if I, not if we, not if you have anything to say about it and vote for it. Now let's bring in one of my good friends, journalist. And before I say host, I'm going to say welcome to Prime Time, because her nickname, if it's not Prime Time, it should be Prime Time. Host of the Megyn Kelly Show. Megyn Kelly, my good friend, Megyn Kelly. Thank you so much for joining us, Megyn.
Hi. So wait a minute. I'm so happy for you. I just want to say congratulations to you before we get going. You deserve this.
Well, thank you so much, Megyn. You've always been a great friend, and love having you on the show, on our first show, on our maiden primetime voyage. So let's talk a little bit about this. We both came from Fox back in the day, and, you know, this whole idea of this not only the Pride Month that Fox is now promoting and doing, but this whole thing about the family, the trans family, where the young girl said that she was a boy, but she told her mom at 2 years old with her eyes. She wasn't able to talk yet, but with her eyes, the mom says. What's going on over at Fox?
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, I've done stories on trans kids, and I actually know somebody. We have a couple trans people in my own family, and one of them was male to female. And the male to female person says that they knew at a very, very young age that they were supposed to be a girl. And traditionally, if you look at the history of transgender gender dysphoria, it affects mostly, almost exclusively, little boys who think that they're actually girls. Now, the stats show that 70% of those kids will grow out of it if left alone, if you don't interfere. But not all of them will. So there's room for some reporting on this. There is room for reporting on how to identify what's real, what's not, how to be supportive, how not to do anything drastic until you know, all that stuff, okay? The problem is the Fox News Channel mission is not to do reports that sound like MSNBC, right? The Fox News Channel mission is to make sure that they include the context that gets ignored by all of the other stations. And in 2022 in particular, we know that there's a lot more to this story. And it is irresponsible to put it on the air like this as a celebration without flagging for the parents out there who are going through this, the significant downsides of jumping onto this without making sure you're in that very, very small percentage of cases where this gender dysphoria might actually be a thing. And the trope of I'd rather have a dead, daughter than a live son, or the other way around. And it's like, that's a very dangerous trope, because this is used by the LGBTQ activists to shame parents who know about that 70% statistic, that generally, if I stay out of it, my kid's going to outgrow this. And in many cases, they just turn out to be gay. It's like, this is a weird form of conversion therapy by default. And so to not flag the significant downsides of what happens to these kids when they're put on puberty blockers, when they're put on cross-gender hormones. By the way, when that's done to girls, they're sterile. They can't have children anymore. And you could go down the list. Is irresponsible to their mission. I mean, I don't expect any of the mainstream press to do it. I really don't. And although they should. In 2022, we know enough that they should. Well, but I am surprised to see Fox News not doing it at all.
Conservative social media is up in arms, and I think you and I would agree with this. We don't care if, as an adult, who you sleep with, who you want to wake up next to, who you want to dress like. I care less. It's when the children, and we've seen this push by teachers who are pushing this on children. We see libs of TikTok exposing so many teachers who, I came out to my third grade, our second grade kids. And
it's absurd.
Another stat, Megyn, and this is where the rubber meets the road, and I hate using those terms, but I just saw a statistic that in the last year, the number of children, the rate of children identifying as trans has doubled than it was just 5 years ago. And it may be because of some of this, and maybe these kids, it's not that they're finally realizing who they are, what they want to be, they think it's more acceptable, and it's what they should be doing, not what they really are.
No, that's what's so disturbing. When I first started covering these issues, because I've seen it in my own family, I was very kind and open-minded and sure to point out to people that this is a real thing in a small amount of cases, and we shouldn't be bullying people who suffer from this. What's happened since then, Eric, is we've lost our minds on this issue. It's become a political issue almost. It's like the politics of it have taken over the actual issue of it, to where now if somebody's calling their child a baby, instead of a baby. It's going to be some far left woke progressive who's got some political agenda they're working out on their kid. And it's abusive. And now what we're doing is hiding facts from parents who have an absolute role in this, teachers who have their own agenda trying to push it on children when it comes to sex, when it comes to gender, things that they should not be coming anywhere near. And that one middle school teacher working out her issues because she feels safe with her sixth graders, go to a therapist. Don't work out your issues on my kid. In fact, if my kid brings any issues of his own to you, you bring them to me. I didn't hire you for that. I hired you to teach math. That's it. This woman's not well enough to be in front of these kids. So we've crossed over to this point in society where it's getting really dangerous because tolerance by people who wanted to be open-minded, who were totally in favor of non-bullying and support and, a loving, kind society, have been taken advantage of now to the point where their children are being wrestled away from them. We've seen that literally in Matt Walsh's film, What is a Woman? We've seen that case in Canada where a guy lost his daughter because he would not say that she was his son. So more and more tolerance is being exploited to the point of abuse of the child and, by extension, the parent.
Yeah, we're going to leave it there, Megyn. Always great to have you on. And again, the maiden voyage of the 8 o'clock show. Megyn Kelly, good friend of mine. Thank you so much. You can also catch Megyn Kelly on her Sirius XM show, Megyn, and her podcast as well. She's all over the place. Megyn, thank you so much.
See ya.